Top 10 Rare and Revealing Discoveries Near Volcanoes. Volcanoes are more than just pointy mountains shooting lava. They are among the most powerful geological features, and their eruptions can change the map. However, volcanoes do not have to be active to offer valuable archaeological and geological nuggets. 10. A future predicting fossil. Around 90 million years ago, a big aquatic bird died in what is now the Canadian Arctic. Called Tingmiatornis arctica, the bird looked like a blend between a cormorant and a seagull. When it was discovered in 2016, the prehistoric bird not only became one of the oldest in the northern hemisphere but also set the record straight. Scientists had always believed that heavy global warming blossomed 93.9 to 89.8 million years ago. Despite the roast factor, it was also thought that the Canadian Arctic continued to produce seasonal ice. The fact that Tingmiatornis perched in the area makes that impossible. The bird's features enabled it to dive for food. Ice would have prevented the species from feeding or hanging around. 9. A miniature universe. Near Mexico's Tingmiatornis volcano is a remarkable pond. The lake is noteworthy eye candy, but when it was drained recently, a stone shrine was discovered inside. The Aztec architects did something amazing. They arranged the stones against the pond's mirror effect in such a way that the monument appeared to be floating underwater. Located at the foothills of the Tingmiatornis volcano, this Tetsukuoko shrine adds to a collection of artifacts found at the archaeological site of Nualak, AD 750 to 1150. Most of the items, such as pottery, rock fragments, and organic remnants, have been linked to Tlaloc, an Aztec rain god. 8. An outlaw's cave. In 2014, cave explorers decided to spend their day in Snæfellsnes National Park in Iceland. While investigating the Nishran lava field, they found a cave containing old-looking artifacts. There were signs of a small fireplace, horse bones, and what could have been a bed. The remains were around 900 years old. Experts believe that somebody probably hid there in the 11th or 12th centuries. However, they do not quite know what to make of the person's decision to stay in the cave. Nevertheless, the individual's disregard for the law was clear. This came in the shape of the horse bones, which appeared to belong to an animal that had been slaughtered for dinner. When Christianity was adopted in Iceland in AD 1000, horse meat became a forbidden food. Even before the law came into effect, people rarely snacked on a steed. 7. Giant rings. Inside South Africa's Pilanesberg National Park are circles so large that they resemble mountains and valleys. In reality, these are the scars of an ancient volcano that repeatedly erupted. A NASA satellite snapped enough details to reveal the birth and demise of the billion-year-old volcano. It began as an embryonic hot spot, pooling lava that eventually burst through the crust with immense force and volume. Not all the magma was released, however. Some cooled and solidified within the earth, seeping into circular cracks and adopting their shape. These are known as ring dikes. Highly uncommon, only a few exist in the world. During the volcano's million-year lifespan, the process repeated several times. Each eruption stamped out a new underground ring. The Pilanesberg volcano became dormant after continental plates shifted it away from the hot spot. 6. A fossilized forest. When a volcano blew its top around 300 million years ago, it froze a tropical forest in time. The doomed landscape once thrived in modern-day Inner Mongolia. During the disaster, the forest smothered beneath a blanket of volcanic ash nearly 100 centimeters, 39 in, thick. At the time, Earth lacked continents except for the supercontinent known as Pangaea. But despite staying buried for so long, the newly discovered plants were in pristine condition. It was like a free day at a candy store for researchers, who got to see actual trees and foliage that blended the Permian-era ecosystem together. The ash layer was not high enough to preserve standing trees. But some filled during the event and were buried inside the ash layer. This rare view gave a detailed image of the forest's layers. 5. The Campanian ignimbrite. In 2012, scientists decided to reassess an ancient supereruption in Italy. The Campi Flegrei volcano got moody around 39,000 years ago, and it became Europe's biggest eruption in 200,000 years when it exploded. To gain new insight, the team focused on the so-called Campanian ignimbrite. These were the massive ash fields left behind by the volcano. After investigating 115 sites for exact measurements, researchers reverse-engineered the event and came to the conclusion that the eruption was epic. Around 250 to 300 cubic kilometers, 60 to 72 mi3, of ash was ejected over an area of 3.7 million square kilometers, 1.4 million mi2. It surpassed previous estimates, which suggested a volume up to 3 times less. In addition, 450 million kilograms, 990 million pounds, of sulfur dioxide were released. The toxic cloud cooled an already frigid ice age and could have caused eastern Mediterranean Neanderthals and humans to die off and the survivors to leave. 4. To shrink the human gene pool. Between 50,000 to 100,000 years ago, humans became an endangered species. The modern population's limited genes suggest that diversity was lost because humans were few. In 2009, the smoking gun for mankind's precarious position was found. About 73,000 years ago, a volcano did its thing on the Indonesian island of Sumatra. It made the Neanderthal-killing Campi Flegrei look like a pimple. Called the Toba eruption, it spewed enough ash into the air to block sunlight for 6 years. Where Campi Flegrei caused temperatures to fall by 1 to 2 degrees Celsius, 1.8 to 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit, Toba yanked it down a devastating 16 degrees Celsius, 28 degrees Fahrenheit. An ice age followed for 1,800 years. The eruption could explain why humans almost joined the dodo, but the proof was needed. 3. Where Africa breaks in two. Africa is spawning an island. The full process will take 10 million years. But in Ethiopia, things are moving fast. In 2005, scientists discovered a speedy split. Within 10 days, a crack opened to a width of 8 meters, 26 feet, and ran 60 kilometers, 37 miles. It is caused by underground eruptions and deep lava rising to the surface. Remarkably, the crack is the start of a new ocean. As volcanic activity increases the fracture, the Horn of Africa will detach from the rest of the continent. The southern parts of Ethiopia and Somalia will turn into an island as new sea floods in between it and the much-reduced continent. 2. Ancient water in glass. Deep-sea volcanoes brought another previously unseen process to the surface. Scientists already knew that seawater infuses the ocean floor with hydrogen and boron isotopes. But the deeper tectonic plates sink into the mantle as they get more parched of seawater and its chemical elements. For scientists interested in studying the recycling of ancient water, it was like looking at a fingerprint without lines. At some point, the hydrogen and boron isotopes fade away as if seawater reaching the mantle would just disappear. However, the Manus Basin of Papua New Guinea provided the truth. There, underwater volcanoes erupted 1.6 kilometers, 1 mile, beneath the surface, and the depths pressure sealed water within the volcanic glass. Analysis of the glass returned a surprise. The seawater came from deep within the mantle and had been preserved for 1 billion years. 1. The false volcano. In Peru, a curious structure soars almost 15 meters, 50 feet, high. During the 1960s, archaeologists in Nepean Valley noticed the mound. Despite recognizing it as artificial, its existence was recorded without apparently being investigated. As our volcan's name suggests, it resembles a volcano. A serious investigation in 2017 made the pyramid even more mysterious. Nobody knows who built it between 900 to 200 BC or the inspiration behind the cinder cone shape. 3 theories competed: looters, erosion, and a deliberate attempt by the builders to make a fake volcano. But erosion cannot explain the missing material from the inner pit, approximately 2,135 cubic meters, 75,400 ft3, in volume. Looters would have dumped it at the site, and they wouldn't have stayed to transform a place they were robbing into a cone.